Hello and welcome this week to the weekly update, NABLL weekly update show. We had the New Orleans Mambo guys on. We've only had a chance to talk for a couple minutes before we go. We've got Tim Semish as usual. But Edwin, I'll let you kind of go ahead. You guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about the Mamba.
Hey man, Edward Pijon, Kyle Manning here. We've been playing for a few years now. We really, our league's kind of small. We just play about 2 teams right now.
Yeah, it's Austin, us, and Dallas.
Yeah, we're looking to grow, but we're on the come up. We've kind of a newer team, about what, like 3 years?
Yeah, something like that. 5, maybe 5.
Well, we've started to kind of expand out from just New Orleans area to about 2 hours north, and so far it's shown out pretty good. Yeah, a lot of guys that have just graduated college starting playing with us. A lot of the older guys too. So, yeah.
So when you say, how long was the team formed before it was the NABLL? Because we're going into our 3rd NABLL season. So did you guys play IBLA, was it?
Yeah, we played the last year, the IBLA, and then we had a year where we played with Austin and a few teams in Texas. That was kind of like a lag year between the NABLL and the IBLA ending, or like us joining the NBA and ABLL.
Gotcha. So you guys have been playing those Austin area teams before. How long of a trip is that?
I mean, it's like an hour and a half flight, but it's like an 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
So are you guys flying for games? Do you guys have guys that are doing that?
Yeah, I think
I refuse to make that drive.
Yeah. We pretty much most of the team gets on the 8:45 flights out of New Orleans, and we all kind of hunker down on that late flight into whatever, Austin or Dallas, and then leave the same day early, the morning of the earliest flight.
They're cheap. I mean, it's Southwest. It's not crazy expensive, and we do have a few guys that drive now, but they live 2 hours closer, so for them it's 6 hours drive. They don't mind doing it.
Yes. So my Friday last week, or Thursday actually, I drove all the way to Buffalo and then had to drive back because my wife was sick before. So I literally spent more time than that. I love hearing that you guys fly though. That's cool. So the whole team kind of goes together and you got a handful of guys that bring the equipment, or does everybody bring that box gear and just check that in the plane?
Everybody's on the plane.
Yeah. When we went to,
it's got to smell lovely.
That was Austin.
Yeah, our goalie, they didn't put his stick on the plane because it didn't get cleared or something. So he had to go to, I think, Lacrosse Unlimited in Austin and had to go buy a whole new stick for the game because they thought it was contraband or something.
It's impressive you could even find a goalie stick that close. I mean, there's a lot of these places like Utica, which is a pretty big area for lacrosse. You would be pretty hard pressed to find one within an hour trip. So kudos to them to even having one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it. You don't really, when Taco says he's going to do something, you don't really question him. He just kind of goes and does it.
And he just kind of came back with it.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I don't know if he rented it, bought it, took it from a kid off the
Stole
street.
some kid walking down the road.
This is mine now. I'm just takes it.
Yep.
Dude, knowing him, probably.
Hey, come on.
Oh,
he's definitely watching.
Yeah, he's definitely watching. That was just for him. No, but we have a lot of good. As we were talking about before we went live, so we've a lot of guys travel, but we've had different guys commit to different trips. So like our first trip was a lot of defensive guys. Second trip was a lot of offensive guys. We had more lefties than we had righties, which, is not the worst thing in the world, but it's just a unique problem to have. But we're just trying to kind of find that balance, and we got games this weekend. So we're excited to get back into that.
Well, I mean, especially when you're talking this men's league, though. I mean, Tim can talk to this because you guys used to have a pretty long division. It's a lot easier to find guys if your farthest trip is 2 hours. But when you're talking an 8-hour trip or having to buy a plane ticket to go play, I mean, you've got some serious commitment from your guys. So, I mean, how do you guys do number-wise? Are you guys around? What's your numbers like?
We went to
Austin with like 16.
About 16. I wasn't able to go to Dallas. So
one goalie with 16 runners.
Yeah,
and then
solid bench.
That's better than the Tomahawks did for most of the Can-Am season. I don't know if you watched any of that, but I think they have to pay $100 fine for everybody that they have under 12 players. So I can't even imagine. But they were playing in the Can-Am league with like 7 guys just running out of gas. So you guys at least had 3 full line changes, and an extra guy. So at least least you kind of were able to get some rest in. Now, you guys, with it being that kind of travel, I'm guessing you guys play multiple games like round robin style.
Yeah, we usually go down there and everybody plays everybody once. So we'll do 3 games a weekend, and we'll play both teams. Everybody travels each day or each game. I don't know what word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
each
I mean, like we
weekend.
play like we go there Friday. We we kind of stay in Friday night, and then Saturday we usually play in the mornings or the early afternoon. We play 2 games, and then we always have traditions going out in Austin and going out in Dallas with the guys, which is I know that I'm not saying it's the reason a lot of the guys are around, but it's definitely a plus. Like
It's one of those things people look forward to, though. Like when you're
Oh,
going out there, yes, you're going out there to play lacrosse, but you're going out there with this group of guys that now you're going on, 4 years of getting to meet, and it's just as much an annual trip. Like when we go out to nationals is the only chance I get to see like Tim and Rich and all these guys too. So no, I get what you mean. Like even yeah, it's not so much to go out and get drunk, but it is to hang out, the party afterwards with everybody is a blast. Getting to see guys. And what's funny is like nobody thinks of lacrosse as a hotbed. How did you guys get into box lacrosse to start with? Is what I want to know.
he got me into it.
Yeah, so I really don't even know. So in New Orleans, we've had an indoor like a rec league, a beer league, whatever you want to call it, for like as long as I've been around. It's been going for a while now, but it's not like true box.
We
It's
play
kind of
fives. We play 4 runners and a goalie.
Yeah.
But the goalies in regular goalie pads, and
And-
it's been a men's league thing since I've been
yeah,
I've
and
been
it,
doing it since 18.
Wait, they dress like a field goalie, like they're just
yeah,
protected.
so we don't wear for that league. Nobody wears box pads like at all, really, and they kind of play like no moving picks, no cross checking. It's kind of like
Small.
almost like sixes inside.
What kind of
So,
goal?
It's
do you
like
shoot?
sixes with the rebound bouncing back at you, so you're at least getting a lot more touches, but it doesn't have the physicality. I would imagine though, as far as like getting older guys and stuff, it's probably a lot easier sell to
That
get
was
people to play.
from what I understand when it started. That was the idea behind it, was to keep it so they could get all ages going.
A lot of old Canadians in this thing that live down here.
But from there, we
Yeah,
had
it's one
this
of the
guy
few places that
Simon,
speaks French, so I mean that probably actually, yeah.
That's true.
big help there. We had this guy Simon who came down, who like had played box a few times. I don't know where he was
I
playing.
think he's from
but
New York.
yeah, somewhere, wherever. But he was the old manager of the team, and he started up, and he was just going around that beer league, being like, "Who wants to play? Who wants to play?" And then I signed up, and then I got him to sign up, and then it just kind of trickled down from there.
And none of us had ever really played before.
Yeah.
And so something like I remember my first practice, I think I broke 2 sticks because I didn't have a box stick. I wasn't wearing rib pads. I just got bullied the entire time, but I had no idea what I was doing. I'm a field player, And then having that experience, playing a few years, we have a lot of new young guys this year that are from Lafayette, which is like 2 hours away. Watching them play their first game and watching their faces as they're like, oh, this is like a dog fight. This is not just like, oh, I can kind of take a little time off. No, this is go, 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 physical, physical, physical. The look on their faces was hysterical. They looked like they were in shock from playing box for the first time.
That's one of my favorite traditions every summer. Is we'll have like 3 or 4 college kids that are like, "Oh yeah, man, I want to play box because we play box at college," and they just play like goof around stuff with tennis balls.
Yeah.
And then their first practice or their first game, some dude takes them out on a pick or something like that, and they're like, "What the hell was that?" Like that's one of my favorite traditions of this league. It's just watching the college kids and the young kids' eyes just get so big.
It was
So, like,
fantastic.
It was incredible. And then after that first game, they kind of started to realize like, oh shit, I got to be aggressive.
Yeah, I gotta hit somebody.
Okay.
So do you guys recruit like a lot of college kids, or do you kind of use that league to kind of get some older guys playing, or like?
We kind of, so the last couple of years, the numbers have been worse than they were now. Like traveling with like 12 guys. I think we played the last game last year with 9 guys traveling to Dallas for 2 games. So this year we kind of were just like open recruitment policy.
Yeah, we were New
If you're
Orleans
old,
Mambo.
young, college, fresh out of high school, we'll take you right now.
But I
But
mean,
it's-
you guys, I'm guessing, so a lot of these teams, even when you have like a roster, you still have like an open style practice, or were you guys trying to like cut guys and really run that set unit?
So we've kind of hit the number of like we've hit. I'd say like in our group chat we probably have 25 runners with two goalies, and not everybody can come
3
to every
goalies,
game.
actually.
3 goalies.
Yeah.
And so like this weekend we have a couple of guys that can't make it, so we haven't like I think we're gonna have 20 runners and 2 goalies, so we don't have to make any cuts. But at the moment we're kind of taking on anybody that wants to come play.
Yeah. So I would say we have not gotten to the point of where we're big enough for tryouts, like full-blown tryouts, but we have been, with this weekend specifically, a little selective with who's going to get the run. And then hopefully, as we keep going, hopefully this group of college kids that we brought in brings a few more in, and then we can start getting real serious. Like I know Austin has like full-blown tryouts, and hopefully we can get there eventually.
Yeah, so
I mean,
Austin are they kind of the perennial powerhouse in the league? They made it to nationals last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a good,
so.
they got a really good group. A lot of guys that from up north that play college that go down there. They're a good team. Them and Dallas, really. They got a lot of guys that live in Texas now. A couple Syracuse guys, I think, or maybe some Maryland guys. They've lived in that cities and they play with them. They got some good guys.
Nash.
You just wanted to say hi.
Yeah,
we're a lot of homegrown guys though. We have some guys that
I don't think we have any out-of-state players right now except for Taco, maybe.
Yeah, we got
yeah.
What's Andrew's buddy? Taz. We got Taz.
Yeah, we might have two out-of-state players right now. So it's almost all New Orleans, Lafayette, or Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Mainly local guys. And now most of your guys, did they? When do guys start playing lacrosse down there? Is it like a middle school thing, or do you guys have a big field like where there's some rec programs K through 6?
They're popping up right now really slowly. But I would say most of the players start 8th grade. We have now like a middle school league in New Orleans with like 6 teams. I think Baton Rouge does, and Lafayette has a couple. But really,
Shreveport too.
I would say most of the guys on our team started playing in high school.
Yeah, like I didn't know what lacrosse was until 8th grade.
Yeah.
25, 26.
Yeah, it was 9th grade for me was the first time. I was still running track. I was a hockey player, so I did pole vault and I did sprints. I would do 200 meters because that's about your 30-second, shift. And then all of a sudden I seen all these guys running out with these long poles, and then I saw practice and they were beating each other up. I was like, that seems way more exciting than what I was doing. And I actually had, even growing up, so I live like 3 hours from Syracuse. I'd never seen a box game until Albany came with the Firewolves. I never even watched it when I was in high school back when they did with the Attack. I was so busy playing hockey that it just kind of barely registered they had a team. So yeah, my first box game though was only 3 years ago, and I caught the bug. So I mean, how cool is it for you guys to be a group of guys that basically were just crazy enough to stick with this old guy Simon, and now you're getting to see those young guys coming in and that passion and that spark, and where you're watching it. I mean, that's always my favorite part is you're introducing these guys like Tim says, where you see that first guy, and some of these kids you're like, oh, I lit that fire, and that guy's going to have the box bug for the rest of his life.
Well, for like a lot of the guys that played this year, so we both played at Louisiana Lafayette, which was like 2 hours away. That's where we played MCLA field. And a lot of those guys that had not played, they played with us or he coached them. And so watching the freshmen when I was a senior now coming to play with me has been awesome.
Yeah.
And, they were the same thing as us. They started playing in 8th grade or 6th or 7th grade. And it's cool to see it grow. I was playing in we were playing 6s, the Olympic style on Saturday. And I had 2 kids that knew one of the guys on our team come up to me. They're like, who did you play for? We recognize that. And I told them I'm playing for Mambo right now. And they're like, we've heard about that. Like, we want to come out and play. And these are kids fresh out of high school or almost out of college. And it was like so cool to see that. One of them was a goalie. I'm like, dude, you don't know what you're about to put yourself into.
It's like, yeah, we definitely are interested in you. And the rest of you guys, if you can run and travel, we are probably interested in you.
The goalies, though, tell him he'll like it better, though. I mean, it's completely different, field goalie to box goalie, but every field goalie that has come to a Nashville Ignite thing, as soon as they get hit with the ball, they're like, this is awesome. I don't feel anything. Like, just giving them the padding and everything like that, is like, so he'll actually end up loving it. Goalies are usually the easiest ones to convert. It's really just playing time for them.
I was going to say, once we get them into pads, it's an easy sell for goalies. The hardest part is getting them into pads down here. Like, that's not easy to come by.
True. Like
Yeah.
our ex
I think
goalie
we
was
had
a
3
field
sets
goalie.
in the entire city. We
Yeah,
had
we
3
really
sets of
do.
goalie pads.
And you guys happen to have all 3 guys playing.
No, one of them's trying to sell one and he can't get
Yeah.
anybody to buy it. Yeah.
Damn.
But it's cool, man. It's like from not knowing, from never watching an NLL game, and even like to now being like watching, Canadians or box guys in the PLL or college now, and be like, you can kind of see the difference. Like like watching college in high school or even in college, like this is Canadian, whatever. You can really tell. Now that I've played it and now that I've kind of seen it in person, the inside feeding, man, the catching, the improvisation is so cool.
That's a big word.
And that is a big word. And so, like, seeing some of these guys that have played field now try that kind of stuff instead of just being field players that are just thrown on the box field, like I was when I first started playing, and a lot of us were. It's cool. Like, I tell a lot of them, like, if I got to just play box my entire life, I would. And so it's so much more fun.
And getting to have that experience, what is the biggest thing that, like you said, you got to get to pick it out that you think is the subtle difference? I had somebody tell me it was the rebounds once in front of the net, the way they can get it and get it out of their stick so fast. Whether it's the transition guy going up the field or if it's your attack guy trying to get it right back on net. But I mean, from a perspective where you guys were a little bit older, a little bit more mature when you got to see it first, what do you think the biggest, difference is or the benefit to playing box?
So I can think of one from an offensive perspective, but defensively, what do you think?
For me, it was the physicality. I was not used going into it, getting hit on the defensive side of the ball. And suddenly I'm stepping on, like, we played a tournament in Austin, I think, for our first set, like my first time playing. And all of a sudden I was getting like cross-checked in the back and stuff on picks. That was a big change for me. Yeah.
I mean, offensively, it's just like the way that we approach it. Like a lot of teams down here, they love to initiate from behind. They love to initiate from just like a dodging up top, but like really trying to hit those wings in box and work the 2-3 man game and really focusing in on that and being more physical and crashing the crease. Like from an offense perspective, for me, it was like super challenging to kind of figure that out. But now when I'm watching PLL with Teat and Byrne and watching them work those left wings, you can kind of see like, you can kind of take some of those like triangle offenses that they're kind of running with, double picks and screens and going through and implementing into that from field to box and vice versa was super challenging for me and just kind of cool to see. And
are you guys? Oh, sorry, go ahead. What did you say, Greg?
I was saying basketball. Did you play basketball before too, or were you just a lacrosse guy? Or because I hear a lot of guys say that basketball offense is similar, but I was never a basketball guy. I'm like 5 foot tall, can't shoot to save my life. Nobody's picking me for anything.
Yeah, my career ended in like 6th grade when I realized I was not getting taller.
Yeah, I didn't play, but I love to watch it. I love to watch basketball. It's probably if like just watching it wise is probably my favorite sport to just watch on TV. Like big Pelicans fan for sure. So I go to a lot of the games. Have always been a big fan of basketball. That's kind of how I saw lacrosse at first. Like when I'm watching the guys break down film and it's pick and rolls and all this stuff, like it was kind of easier to see that. But
when you said triangle, that's what made me think of it.
Yeah.
Are you guys mostly like self-taught, self-coached, or did you talk any of those like Canadians from that league that you guys said you played? Like, did any of those guys come by and help out, or are you guys going through YouTube?
We had this guy Owen on our team for a while.
Yeah,
he taught me a lot. He was, I think he's from Ottawa. Right?
Yeah, somewhere.
He just moved back up there, but he was on our team, and without him, we would not have been where we are today.
Yeah,
like, he taught a lot of the Louisiana guys how to play.
And we had our first year as well. We had Zach Paul, who plays with the Israeli national team. Yeah, he played the first year we had the team, and like without him and Owen were just like tremendous with teaching how to actually play box. Like a lot of us were just starting to figure it out, but those two, like the physicality, the picks, where to set them, how to move the ball once the pick is set. Those two were like tremendous.
Simon taught me a lot too. I mean, he was a gorilla of a human being, so he didn't really have to think about schemes, but he knew the X's and O's for sure.
So what are you guys doing now then? Sounds like everybody's kind of moved on. Are you guys just kind of taking the wings and with them?
One of the key guys on our team, Ket, he's kind of taken that role.
Yeah, like
he taught a lot of the kids. Taco too, our goalie. from Maryland. The man makes saves with his bare hand. Like, it's the craziest shit ever.
Yeah, he was
Plus,
a
goalies get that they have that perspective of watching everything from like way out. So especially the offense, and they're facing the shot, so they kind of know, like, as you're setting things up, what they're looking for, what guys are looking for. So goalies, and they're all crazy. I don't care what you say. Anybody who gets in there, your natural reaction when the ball's coming at you is to probably close your eyes, like most human beings do. The fact that they don't, and some of these crazy guys are smacking it with their head, or like you said, reaching out and catching it with his bare hand. That thing is coming. Even if I shoot it and I'm old and not very good, and it's going to hurt your bare hand.
Oh, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
the man will make a save with his chest, pop it up, catch it in his hand, put it in his stick, and then launch it to you. Like, I don't know how the hell it does it. But yeah, man, it's cool. It's definitely kind of cool to see the transition, and we're excited to get some more guys in on our team.
I think we might have lost Greg for a
You're
second.
back. Yeah, I was gone for a second, but now I got you, and you're back. We went to take a quick commercial break. That is one thing we are in. I am in the middle of the Adirondacks. These people are like 300 years behind in technology, internet connection, the whole. Hence the reason there's a deer above my head.
Yeah. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, you guys might.
Every time I come up to my in-laws, if I have to do a show, I'm doing it with the deer head just because I think it's amazing. I've been waiting for somebody to say something.
Yeah.
You guys might have to reach out your guy. I think we lost him before you shout him out.
Yeah, Logan. Listen, balled out last weekend. I don't know if he played up in. I don't remember where he was in college.
Where did he play D2 ball at?
He played at Wilmington. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, he played at Wilmington.
Yeah.
We just played MCLA, us two.
Yeah, just MCLA.
Just MCLA.
Never had it NSD.
But this year's been interesting because I just got cleared to play. I was hurt for a solid 8 months, the old back issue. So I was just coaching the last 2 weekends, but I'm finally available to play this weekend. So it's very exciting. I'm one of the righties. That's why we didn't have any righties.
I was saying, did you make the trip and still coach and all that?
Yeah.
You did.
Dedication to the team. I love that.
Yeah, it was awesome. I don't know what we're gonna do without a coach now, dude.
It was mostly for going
He's
out.
gonna account for us.
The girls, but it was still fun. No, but yeah, it's
I can't give you any more.
finally cleared to play. No longer a head coach Edwin. Well, now I can play the right wing.
So now you're just right wing, Edwin. No more having to. Do you guys have basically just one of you will stand up on the top and kind of call things out, or how do you guys work the coaching? Is it just whoever happens to be on the bench at the time that can see something?
So
I'm just calling out lines. I need 1 D. I need 2. I need 3. I need full send.
But when he's healthy, usually our face-off guy will jump up on the bench and start doing the counting for us. He doesn't run that much in the defensive run, so he'll do the counting. But as of lately, it's been Edwin. It's been so helpful, Edwin. Thank you so much.
Can you go get me a beer?
No, I can't. Can't do that for you.
No, but that's been helpful. We the first 2 years we had a guy. He played our first year, and then second year he kind of helped us out with that. Austin.
It'd be
Ben. Yeah, he was one of the founding guys too. He played up in Minnesota. Fox.
With Midbow.
With Nick
Midbow.
Midbow.
Yeah.
And he was another guy too that taught us a lot. But he was just like, I mean, he's from Lafayette, went to school, played lacrosse with us, and then just kind of became a stud at box out of nowhere. Just playing.
Midbow or?
No, Austin.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like Midbow's.
I was going to say, Midbow
Yeah.
is loving that. He's clipping that clip. That's going to be the next post coming out. He's like, yeah, they said Midbow is the man. I heard it here. I'm good.
I've never met the man. Like, I played probably 2 years after him, but my God, if I could take a shot for every single time his name gets mentioned around this guy and Austin Ben, I'd be drunk all the time. So Nick, you can clip that. Nick, you can clip that.
What are you doing, dude?
That's amazing. Did anybody else catch his social? I do have to say that Midbow, as far as social media in the NABLL goes, the best crap talker there is. The guaranteed win night, the smack talk, and then he only won by 2 goals. It would have been kind of epic if it went the other way, but you got to give him kudos. He called it out, and they ground it out, and they got the win. I got a kick out of that. So if anybody wants to follow their role, I love when people call it out and especially if you could pull it off. I mean, I'm sure towards the end of that game, you must have been going, "Oh man, I might have ran my mouth a little bit too much in this one."
He did another guarantee win night. They're playing again, I think, right now, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know where my phone is. We got to check the score though, because that was a close game last time. I was watching it and I was like, "Oh, Mambo's gonna be so pissed."
Two guarantee win nights is crazy.
Yeah,
especially when you have to play that team in the playoffs. So actually, one of the Yeti guys just said this to me. He said, it's hard to beat a team twice, yet alone 3 times in a season, and now you've got everybody fired up. So you're basically gonna get you're getting the best version of that team in playoffs, and you've beaten them twice, and it's hard to mentally get there for the game. I mean, so yeah, looking through your guys' scores in Instagram, it looks like you guys are all fairly competitive though. So it doesn't look like somebody's running away with the leads, because last weekend you guys were it was a 2-goal loss and in the one game.
Yeah.
And then one, yeah. So I mean, it's close. I mean, as you guys are getting these young guys, though, it's got to be very optimistic. So if you've got the score like this, and now you're getting guys that in 2 years, 3 years will have that 3 years, basically the level of experience that you guys have now. But as they're staying, if you can keep, what do you think you'll be able to keep? Or do a lot of guys stay in the areas? Everybody take off after college?
Like I say,
yeah. One of the beauties of New Orleans is like not many people really leave New Orleans.
No.
Once you're born here, you're kind of here forever. So we'll keep a lot of those guys around, hopefully, just whether or not they want to get beaten up every weekend.
I'll put it to you this way. I grew up in Metairie, right? And I just bought a house, I think 5 blocks away from where I grew up, from my parents. And not planned, did not want to do that, but that's just what happened. I'm still around all my high school friends too. They all still live here.
Yeah.
He lives like 5 minutes from me. A bunch of other guys, they all live like New Orleans is small. I think from everyone on the team, we probably live 15 minutes away that lives in New Orleans and 2 hours away that live.
What about guys like moving in? Like, do you guys feel like you get a surge every once in a while of like guys moving to town?
Yeah.
We got a couple kids this year that like Crossing, his dad moved down here for work.
Yeah, Crossing was big.
He started playing with us. I think he's playing D2 or D3 right now. And he's just like, I just want to come play. So we got him on and he's been good. So we get a couple every now and again.
Yeah.
One thing, I mean, most people probably don't think of New Orleans and think of it, everybody thinks of it as a party city. But like I was telling you guys before we started, like we went down with our kids and it's absolutely gorgeous. There's a lot of stuff to do there that's not just drinking and partying. There was a lot more to it. And like the whole canal system, really, I said that just threw me off. Just having the big boats above there. And I did a lot of heavy equipment and like dredging and stuff. I was a laborer for a while. And just knowing the weight and what can happen from having that boat up there almost gave me a heart attack. But for you guys, it's probably like a snowstorm. Like you guys are like, I've got no desire to sit up there and freeze my ass off in a snowstorm, but you just don't think anything of it.
I think it's rained hard for at least 2 hours every day for the past 13 days.
Yeah.
And
I like the sandbags by everybody's door just because they're ready for the flood. Like I was like, wait, what? And all the businesses have like wainscoting that goes halfway up so they can just peel it off and throw it out and grab another stick, basically.
Dude, July and August, it floods. It's just going to happen.
Been nonstop.
Yeah. It's just going to happen.
But I mean, that kind of environment, like people talk about it in the cold, but being able to live through that, it really breeds like a toughness that kind of is endured with box lacrosse. It's just this is what we do because this is what we know and this is how we are. So you just kind of grin and bear it. So I mean, you guys definitely have some gritty players. Most of your guys that are coming in, do you guys have is it hard teaching offense or getting guys to play defense, or is it pretty much you guys are getting like midfielders that like running? Or I mean, how is that kind of breaking down?
At first, with the new players, it's a lot of just running. I mean, if we can get you on the field and you know how to carry the ball, you know how to basic defensive like positioning, and you know kind of basic offensive positioning, we can teach you one or the other. Like if you're more of an offensive midi in college or high school, we can kind of teach you how to do it. If you're more of a defensive LSM D midi guy, then we'll turn you into a good.
I mean, very much just what you played in field. We'll just put you on that side of the ball right now, and then we'll figure it out later. If you're better on offense, it'll naturally start happening. And
if you can do both, great. Even better.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fine. Like from a lot of the younger guys, it's kind of just finding out what they want to do, what they're good at.
Yeah.
How's your guys' set up like down there? Because I imagine like it's tough. We only have 2 indoors here in Nashville, and it's because it's the South. So I figured New Orleans would probably be a little bit tougher. Like, do you guys have a rink or?
It's brutal. So we have a rink that we play that men's league in. But I think it was just a straight up warehouse before it was converted over to indoor fields. So it's hot in July. The AC system was set up for a warehouse, so didn't really matter. It's hot. The next closest one we have is in BR, where it's actually where we're gonna play our home games this year. That one's set up. It's like a true indoor facility with like
a hockey rink, boards and plexiglass, or what are you guys?
Yeah, so we have that in the one down home, but it's a little smaller, and like I said, it's just brutal hot. The Baton Rouge one is full Olympic sized. It's still turf, but Olympic sized hockey rink.
Oh, nice.
And it has turf. That's huge, though, to be able to. What kind of turf are you talking about? Is it like the carpet, or is it like real turf?
It's no cleats, turf shoes, and basketball shoes.
But it's not like the true carpet.
Yeah, that's still nice play on. And if it's an Olympic-sized hockey rink, that's huge. Like, I don't think not a lot of people know the difference between an Olympic hockey rink versus like an NHL one, which is what NLL games are on.
Yeah,
I don't know well for field guys because there's a lot.
It's 25 foot wider and it's 15 feet longer. So behind the nets, you've got an extra. It's like 7 feet almost on both sides. I was a hockey guy. That's the only reason I know. We used to play Olympic stuff all the time. So yeah, and instead of your regular hockey rink is I think 50, and then it's 75, or it's 75 and then it's 100. But I don't remember. It's 25 feet wider though, and then it's like 15 feet longer. But no, so that does make a huge difference. So for you guys actually, and then when you get the guys in from Austin, what are they when they're playing? Do you guys get to practice in that, or are you guys just going to that for the games?
So practices that's kind of one of our growing things now with us revitalizing the team. Practices have been so here and there. Like when we've been practicing at the one back home, which is smaller than an NHL hockey rink. So it's gonna be quite the transition to go from nice and tight to
all the space in the
world.
Like
more space than we know what to do with.
But we did play in Dallas, which was just like a regular hockey rink.
Yeah.
I think regulation size that they laid down. Just I don't even know. Oh yeah, you played there before though.
Yeah.
It was just like
it's sports court.
Sports court. Yeah. So everybody's wearing basketball shoes, and when we got out into that space, we still did pretty good. So I mean.
The plexiglass is a huge thing, though. It's just not like teams that have to practice with a net or that don't have, like even plywood's not you don't get the same bounce off of plexiglass as you do. And especially getting new guys, you're trying to teach them offense or defense, just the way that comes off to be able to know when you've got to turn around to look or when you're almost better off not turning around and just knowing that ball's coming back. I mean, that's got to be, that's a huge advantage for you guys compared to somebody. But I mean, so most of your guys, the only time they're getting on this surface, I would imagine, is when you guys are running either practice or some kind of team thing. So with your preseason, as you're building up, what do you guys do? Is it just like team scrimmages, or do you guys have like a couple other local guys that play? Or
so we in the off season, a lot of us are playing field. So the good thing about the city and how small the lacrosse program is that it's smaller, and that means that a lot of the guys that are playing with Mambo are also coaching. So a lot of us have sticks in our hands year round. We're coaching field, we're playing field, we just are constantly like just thinking about the game. So when it's time to move to box, our minds are already of like, okay, we have this style of lacrosse, like it's kind of the same fundamentals. Let's just kind of change our way of thinking about it a little bit different. So, I mean, that's kind of the way that we're looking at it. A lot of us aren't thinking about box 24/7. A lot of us are field guys and coaching and playing. And then we kind of go there during the summer. But I'd say around April, once we kind of get recruiting guys in, right, we're kind of all.
So in terms of like the practice actually go though, practice one usually like every season when we're getting fresh guys in, it's like a crash course on box in general, like how picks work, how tight the space is, what we're doing, yada yada yada. And then after that, we'll run like drills, but mostly we'll just scrimmage up and down just to get guys moving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because like you said, most of your guys, they're either coaching or they just came out of college. So stick skills doesn't sound like, you're not teaching anybody how to play lacrosse. Most of your guys hopefully have the fundamentals. You're just kind of going over box IQ stuff, running
Yeah.
plays, trying to educate some people. We do actually, though. I just realized we're running a little late, so we need to talk some power rankings and hopefully talk some smack. Hopefully, we get the Mamba on here pretty soon. You guys get some weekends. I use I have to
Well,
throw.
if you have a good weekend, you might be in that number 9 spot. You never know.
It's true. They can take him out. I have to say Westminster. I have to say Westminster and Thousand Island. I think hold that one spot until further notice. The Wheat Kings doing great things up there. We're hopefully going to have somebody on from the Pacific Northwest. I actually reached out to the Cambridge Nor'easters. Hopefully we'll have them on pretty soon. The Grand Rapids Grizzlies. I've heard they just make lacrosse robots up there. We already talked about guaranteed win night and in Minneapolis. I mean, so the Wheat Kings. I got to ask you, Tim, are you going to pull their power ranking if they lose on guaranteed win night? Does that automatically drop them?
Oh,
It's-
they're out. You're out forever if you lose on a guaranteed win.
You got to.
I mean, yeah, at least the rest of the year. I mean, I'll check the score when we get off, but I mean, we'll find out. But yeah, if you lose on a guaranteed win night, you're out for the rest of the season.
You're
no
out for
matter-
the season. You can't make the top 10. I love it. We'll go with that. And then the Ignite at 7, the Reapers at 8, the Scorpions at 9, and the Collar City Kings. So the Collar City Kings, I always say they're my favorite as far as they're the kings of the Sandlot. They got a bunch of super talented guys. They are not always the most organized team. I think everybody there will tell you the same thing, but it's just a group of guys that love playing lacrosse, and they happen to have some super, super talented guys, and then they just happen to try to get a team together in the league, is how it seems. But now, you guys being where you are, how many other teams have you played out of your division? Do you guys travel and play anywhere in these tournaments, or?
Not we didn't this year. Like I said, so we had like kind of a change in leadership this season. So we're just kind of trying to get everything lined up, make sure our money's there. We have enough to travel through our regular season.
Facilities are paid for. You don't want to be one of those guys that leaves a bad taste in somebody's mouth. So,
Yeah.
as a box lacrosse person, we appreciate that because I know there is some facilities that will not deal with people anymore because some teams don't, do that. As a GM, though, I mean, thank you guys very much. That is a crazy amount of responsibility for a group of guys. What's the biggest thing hurdle you've noticed? Sorry to get off topic, but I love this question. Is one guy said water. I mean, other guys are like, well, I forgot to bring a scorekeeper, or I mean, it's always like something funny that usually kind of takes guys by surprise.
Balls. We always forget.
Yeah,
balls.
balls.
Traveling. balls.
We got lucky. One of our guys coaches, and he happened to have a fresh pack of balls in his bag for our first home games. Otherwise, we'd be warming up with nothing.
Same thing with Dallas. One kid that hadn't, we hadn't really heard from him a lot that year. He showed up in Dallas and he had like 16 balls, so we had enough balls to warm up with. It was great.
Yeah.
Travel wise, you guys want to meet in Atlanta next year? How close is Atlanta to New Orleans?
It's 8 hours too.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the same distance as Austin. But so yeah, what I was gonna say is we've talked a little bit about it. Hopefully in the next coming years we can make it work where we can start going out to some out of conference games. But we just gotta make sure we gotta get through this year first and then we'll see where everything is.
That's fair.
100%. I will say that we are big fans of New Orleans. So if you guys host anything down there, I just need an excuse to get back down there, and I'm sure my wife would be on the same page. It's beautiful. We're looking for somewhere to get out of the snow. And as soon as our kids are out of school, that New Orleans is very high on the list.
Yeah. So it was like 102 today. So.
Yeah.
102.
And I mean, with humidity, yeah, probably.
I'll tell you what, if you guys can get the Baton Rouge place, I'll twist the Ignite guys' arms next summer. Maybe we can come down there. And then Greg, just come down and film the game.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
That'd be great, man.
There
Well,
we
yeah,
go.
but then you guys will us a trip back up to Nashville.
I'll go to Nashville anytime you want me to.
Nashville was fun too. Nashville. We stopped there. It wasn't for very long, but Memphis was a little scary. Nashville was cool.
You don't go to Memphis. You skip Memphis.
No, Memphis was scary. I don't feel uncomfortable very often. Memphis and Cleveland are the only two cities I've been in that I was like,
Really?
yeah,
Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland, I didn't like it. I've been around New York City 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, Cleveland, there was something about that. I was just like, I'm out. This is scary. And Memphis the same way. Like I was intimidated in Memphis. I stopped at a gas station. I remember I got out and I was like, nope, we're gonna drive until we hit empty. I don't care. We're out of here.
I'm a big Rock and Roll Hall of Fame guy too. I guess I can't go
I was
there.
like, Cleveland's not that bad. You ever been to South Side of Chicago? That's a whole different animal.
No,
You ever been to
not.
Bourbon Street after 1 o'clock in the morning? That's pretty. That's pretty
That's
bad.
all.
They just hose. I tell you, I was so impressed with the way they did. They just literally pull out the fire hydrants and they're just like, all right, spray the street down, start over.
Yep.
I love it.
Oh man.
Yeah, I wake up early in the morning, so I was out. We were in Benatari there, and then I actually just went down by myself before the kids or anything was up. Yeah, you see the fire hoses and everything. You're like, oh man, this really must have been a wild time last night. I'd like to get out there sometime without the kids so we could experience it. But it's yeah, it's
Really?
been a blast. So now with the 3 guys in your division, obviously it's hard, but you guys are starting to see numbers growing. Are you guys with the facilities and everything, do you guys see yourselves growing into being able to have like enough guys so you can start playing like home games against each other, or you think you're still like 5-10 years away from something like that?
I think if we have a lot of guys that have not played box yet because they haven't seen it or they haven't been around it. Like I'll tell you right now, like I'm the only guy in my grade that I know. Like growing up, you have your classes. I'm really the only one from that graduated in 2016 that's playing for Mambo, that has played for Mambo. We had one guy in the first year, but he hasn't played in a while. And all of my friends haven't seen it. All of my friends that still play, they played at LSU. They haven't seen it. If we got all of those guys that haven't seen it, and I know that would love it, they'd come play. Absolutely, we could play.
Yeah, we had a team in Baton Rouge for a little bit, but they kind of folded, and then most of those guys came over and started playing with us right now. So it could happen. It would just take a little bit more commitment from the BR guys. They're not their GM. Their GM was great, but like the guys behind them, second year GM.
We got a lot of those guys on our
I'll
team.
just say
now.
Trey was great.
Yeah, we got a lot of those guys on our team.
Make sure
now.
that's clear.
But just trying to convince those guys that are a little bit older, in their mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, to come out and just try it, that love lacrosse and still play for the men's league, still coach, just to come try it. I think that we could.
Yeah, I always say though it's hard to take a field guy and turn him into a box player unless they have that dog in them. You guys touched on it earlier with some of the kids. Like you see it in somebody's eyes, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to convince a 25-year-old who's doesn't want to wear all his pads. It's like, oh, I could go out and run outside and have some elbow guards on and maybe take a slash once in a while, or I could sign up to go in there. You kind of got to find the special breed of people that are box players, but a lot of it is though just the dedication from guys to travel. I find it amazing that you can find 16 guys to jump on a plane and go play an in-league regular, not even a national championship. That's just your in-league regular season game. I mean, that's amazing.
I will say recruiting wise, it is a lot easier to convince like polls and LSMs or especially D-middies. So they, the contact physicality, but you mean I can cross check this guy and I'm not going to get a penalty? Like that's always an easy sell point. Because like attackmen and offensive midfielders, they're usually the biggest babies. Like they don't want to get cross checked. They don't want to get hit.
I hate it. Yeah.
So I feel like most of the guys that we have recruited is midfielders.
Yeah. Like the 2 guys I'm thinking of that went to LSU, they're both Poles. So yeah, they would love it. They would love to beat up on someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of it is though, because you've got to have that gritty. You want to get in there and get it, and that's why I think you see a lot of guys that like look at Blaze Reardon. He's a goalie, but he has that grittiness to just dig in, and obviously I think he's one of those guys that he's just too crazy, and I don't want to wear all those pads. I want to feel it, and I think there's just weird people like that out there, and he's one of them.
Yeah,
definitely. Crazy.
Yep.
If I could find another Blaze, dude.
Sounds like you guys got a lot of them. Anybody who's playing sixes in a hockey rink, though, I mean, yeah, you're talking about the physicality, but your goalie still to take that shot. There's not that much room. You're not getting like a 20-yard shot. 20 yards in boxes. That's like you're shooting from the midfield line. It feels like, it's crazy.
I was reffing this weekend, and my buddy Michael was getting pelted. I think he got. Before they got it to the other side, I think he took 6 shots in a row. Shoulder, chest, to the head. like right on his arm, and like after it, he was just like, I mean, he had a couple bush lights to get through it, but I mean, he was still doing pretty good.
Bush lice. That sounds like hunting camp if I've ever heard it. I mean,
You get respect for him for saying that?
I don't. He's a Bud Light rep. He'd really appreciate that I just said that. So.
oh my goodness, yeah, that's why I love box lacrosse, guys, because it's those subtle jabs that everybody throws out, and then as you get to know guys, you find out there's more and more to it, stuff like that. It's yeah, no, that's awesome. So I mean, we've been doing this for 45 minutes now. It flies by. It's hard to believe. What I guess would you guys say is the biggest when being able to set up your own division and stuff, though, that's awesome. But how hard is it to find guys to travel to you? I mean, do the Dallas guys, everybody travels pretty good?
Austin always travels really well. I think Dallas traveled pretty good last year. Were you there for those games?
Yeah, they did. They both traveled really well.
Yeah, I mean, like, with it being that we're all so far apart, it's kind of just like you just got to grit your teeth and bear it. Everybody's got to make the trips. And like we said, we haven't really reached out yet to out of conference teams to see about that. Hopefully, maybe next year we can find out if teams are willing to come down here. We'll have to see.
Might be an easy sell. I mean,
location is good.
Yeah, especially like schedule the games like early afternoon, and then we don't have to play on Sunday or like midday Sunday or something like that. Like
these games Saturday are at 7 p.m. and then 11 p.m.
for us.
7. You guys start a box lacrosse game at 11 p.m.
11 p.m. Yeah, because it's the only time that we could get the only other air conditioned.
Oh,
that's so.
Yeah,
definitely gonna fix that next year. So like we can play at like
the
2.
playoffs. The playoffs are gonna be at like 11 a.m. and 1, I think. So it's just the home games that are like that, but it's still not ideal for anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the facility, so it was a little kind of.
There's still gonna be some dudes that go out though. That probably just go out and roll right back.
They go to Tigerland because it's closer to Baton Rouge. They're gonna go out with a bunch of college kids in Tigerland. Definitely.
Not a bad time.
No, sounds like you got it all figured out already. I'm sure they're gonna love it. Yeah, it's you guys should just put together a division team, get a bunch of guys to come up to Lax. I'm telling you, you guys would be a trip up there. It'd be a blaster. Get up to one of those tournaments. Hopefully we get to see you guys at nationals. I mean, not that I discourage any team, but you guys have been awesome, and I really hope that we do get to rotate more teams in, just because it's sweet. And unfortunately, that's the only place I get to talk to most of you guys. So I love being able to do this. Thanks so much for joining us on the show. I guess we'll let Tim. You've been pretty quiet, so anything you want to fill us in with? I mean, what's going on in your division? You guys getting ready for playoffs, regular season? What's up?
We got one more week of regular season. The Firecocks are rocking and rolling. We're 5-0. The other teams have split games so far. We got one more big regional weekend in Atlanta coming up in 2 weeks. But then we're hosting regionals here in Nashville, August 10th, just like everybody else. I think everybody else's playoffs are August 10th as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't got much. You kind of put me on the spot, Greg. I hate when you do that.
Dude, the Firecocks. I mean, in our Sunday league, it's like we got like beers with friends. We got laxstitutes. We got hot dog. We got all these stupid names. I might have to steal that. If I'm ever a captain in that league, I'm stealing Firecocks.
I may sue you, but I'll allow it actually, because the real team is the Ignite. But I mean, it's Ignite with the chicken and the fire, like it's having fire. So it's like,
I love that.
Had to be Firecocks. It's Firecocks, and then our hashtag is everything burns. So
beautiful.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Definitely looks like a firecock. Now that you've said that, that's all I'm ever going to think of the team for. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll actually let you guys tell us basically if anybody wants to get a hold of you, what is your preferred contact methods? Are you guys email guys, Instagram, Facebook? How do you guys deal with people?
Do you remember the email is right now off the top of your head?
No, just NOLA Mambo.
Yeah, NOLA Mambo on Instagram. Hit us up. I have the social media, so I'll check the DMs for people.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.